Tonight's the night. Who gets in the Hall of Fame? And watch out for Brian Cashman. I think he's got something cooking. What's going on, everybody? Hope you had a great weekend. So tonight is the Hall of Fame reveal night. We're going to find out who gets in. Now, there's one obvious, Ichiro Suzuki. I on top of the aside from the world becoming flat all of a sudden, I don't see a possibility that he doesn't get in. And he could be the next unanimous player. There's been only one unanimous player in history, Mariano Rivera. So, CC Sabathia, our own New York Yankee, former Yankee CC Sabathia, also is over the 75% criteria and has a very good chance of getting in as a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is fantastic. And Billy Wagner was just under 75% last year, about 73%. Left-handed dominant reliever Billy Wagner is over 75% threshold this year as well. So there's a good chance of three guys. There's an outside chance of Carlos Beltran getting in as well. We'll see tonight. We will see tonight. So stay tuned. Again, I'm most likely going to go live tonight. So if you want to get live time reporting on it, make sure you're sub to this channel. If you haven't done that yet, make sure your notifications are turned on. That way, when I do go live, you'll know exactly when I do, and I'll announce it live time for you. So, but it's nice to have a Yankees. And I'm hearing that CC Sabathia is probably going to wear a Yankee cap going into Cooperstown, which would be fantastic. Really, 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 really will. Ichiro, obviously, most likely Mariners. And he'll be, I think, if anybody has a chance of being unanimous Hall of Famer, it's Ichiro Suzuki. There's been a couple guys that I thought should have been unanimous over the years that were not. I think he has a really good chance of becoming one of them. So you let me know what your thoughts are about Ichiro. He's unbelievable. Now, let's pivot over to the Yankees. Okay. There's 3 weeks left to pitchers and catchers reporting, and the Yankees still have a move or two, then maybe 3 moves they need to make. And again, Brian Cashman, and by the way, thank you for Bobby Malone. Thank you to Bobby Malone for coming on last night. We were talking about breaking down the Yankees' financials and just to give a little bit more clarity and understanding of how the Yankees operate and why they operate in the way that they do. If you haven't seen that, go take a look at it. I appreciate it, and I think you'll find it pretty informative. So, for those that don't know me, I like to deal in facts and reality and not Twitter talking points. So, I think you'll find it pretty insightful. But now, with that said, Brian Cashman, right now, they need to solidify one more infield bat, and I think he will. He needs to solidify at least one bullpen arm, preferably lefty, maybe two. But whether it's lefty or right, as long as they can get guys out, is what really matters the most. And shout out to Ken for that. So, I do think two lefties would be a good balance to have here. There's quite a few names. Andrew Chafin. I do think Tim Hill will wind up coming back here. It sounds like he's looking for a 2-year deal, but he's not getting it anywhere. So most likely he'll come back on a 1-year deal. And then you've got a couple other guys. There are a couple of guys, and I think in this next 3-week period, Marcus Stroman will be traded. There's potential that Trent Grisham could be traded, but I wouldn't move him unless you can get a compensatory pick or something like that to add to the draft. Okay, Yankees have they've lost their second-round pick when they signed Max Fried. So if they can get a compensatory pick somewhere in the top 60, top 70, that'd be a good thing for the Yankees. Now, Marcus Stroman, I think it's going to be mostly salary. If you can get a pick, you can get a pick. Okay, but there are a couple teams that are not spending. The Marlins, the A's. I think those are the two most obvious teams. Maybe even the Pirates that could be fits for Marcus Stroman, and it could absorb most of his contract. But I do see the Yankees absorbing probably $4 or $6 million of it. But I do think he will get moved, and the most likely thing here is he might get moved to a team that has a reliever, a left-handed reliever, that the Yankees could maybe pry in return. Now, there's also that talk about infield bats. And with the exception of a couple guys in free agency, Nolan Arenado has been talked about quite a bit, and his market is dwindling. to the point where the Cardinals will have to eat a significant chunk of money. Maybe that's what Brian Cashman's waiting for. When I talk about multiplayer trade, the Cardinals also have left-handed relievers there. Joe Romero, like John King. And I could see one of these one of these relievers, these Cardinals, coming with Nolan Arenado. Now, my preference is Brendan Donovan. Obviously, for those that know. But Nolan Arenado is a more likely scenario than Brendan Donovan. He is also close. Paul Goldschmidt, close with Aaron Judge. So, he's pretty much a shoo-in to be in the Hall of Fame as well. 10-time Gold Glover. So, if you can pry him away, I think Brian Cashman will be able to pry away your lefty reliever, and I think that's what he's waiting for. Multiplayer trade. That way he's not having to sign 2 relievers in free agency. Okay? Now, the Marlins are another one. Andrew Nardi is a lefty reliever that the Yankees could hopefully pry away. And they're in jeopardy of being penalized by MLB Players Association for not spending. So they're under the threshold. And so they would have, absorbing more of Marcus Stroman's contract. Good idea. If you can get Andrew Nardi back, good idea. Oakland A's are also someone that's just under that threshold to not get penalized. Marcus Stroman can help put them over the top. And all these teams needed an innings eater. Marcus Stroman can provide that for them. Okay? At a relative, good contract cost relative to this market. You got pitchers getting $20, $25 million a year who are number 3s and number 4s, which is crazy, but it's true. Jack Flaherty hasn't even signed yet. He's going to get probably upwards between 20 and 25 million too per year. Nick Pivetta hasn't signed either. So he's attached to a QO. But the other scenario here is Tanner Scott going to the Dodgers. They have to put him on the 40-man. And when they put him on the 40-man, their 40-man's full. When he goes on the 40-man officially, once he passes his physical, then maybe one of those lefty relievers. I talked about it yesterday. Vesio or Banda, one of those lefty relievers who have controllable years from the Dodgers might become available. There's another trade option for Brian Cashman there. And the Yankees have a pretty decent history of trading with the Dodgers. So there's options galore that they can do. And again, if they don't want to pursue free agency, I know a lot of folks wanted to get Ha-Seong Kim, and I get it. There's a good chance that he might not be ready. It sounds like he won't be ready until May or June. And that's you're probably talking 30, 40 games there. And that could be the difference between the Yankees staying in contention or being not in contention. So I think the Yankees want to start the season off with the piece that's already here. If it's Nolan Arenado, if it's something like that, Nico Horner, the Cubs. Because I honestly don't think that they're going to go for Brendan Rodgers or Paul DeJong or Jorge Polanco. I don't think any of those guys are going to start here. Just like I don't think DJ is going to start here, Oswald Peraza or Oswaldo Cabrera. I don't think any of those guys are going to be starters here. I think it's got to be somebody better than those guys. All due respect to them. So stay tuned. I think it's going to be really interesting. Brian Cashman tends to he's one of the best, if not the best, at waiting out the market, reading the market, and pouncing when the opportunity strikes. And there are quite a few guys who have not signed yet and who are linked to teams that, if they do sign with them, could make guys available. If Alex Bregman happens to sign with the Cubs, Nico Horner likely becomes available. Okay. If he signs with the Tigers, one of their infielders likely becomes available. So options present themselves over the next couple of weeks. And these guys, and one of the reasons I'm going to stick with my position that the reason why these guys aren't signed yet is because they're attached to qualifying offers. And they turned down significant contracts already. Pete Alonso turned down a big deal from the Mets, and Alex Bregman turned down a big one from the Astros. That's on them. No team should be offering. Why would they offer more? No. So, and I don't see the point in the Yankees giving a short-term deal on any one of these guys and forfeiting all those things, draft picks and international. No. So it doesn't make any sense. So, and again, there are other guys via trade route that are probably more appealing options than these guys in the free agent round. But you let me know what your thoughts are. Give me your thoughts. Who is going to get into the Hall of Fame tonight? I'm rooting for CC, obviously. I do think it's going to be three. CC, Wagner, and Ichiro. And there's potential for Carlos Beltran. We'll see. We might have to wait another year. I don't know yet. But, and give me your thoughts. What multiplayer trade do you think Brian Cashman can make? And I think he very likely will at this point. Because then you can kill two birds with one stone in one trade. And then he can look for a backup catcher. I mean, there's another trade idea with the Minnesota Twins. Willie Castro could be an infielder who also positioned as a leadoff. And then you have Christian Vasquez could be a backup catcher. But he's a little on the pricey side, Christian Vasquez. So I can see them going a free agent route for a backup catcher and then a trade route for a infielder and a pitcher. So I think you can get a backup catcher for a heck of a lot less than $10 million a year in free agency. But you let me know what your thoughts are, gang. That's pretty much, those are the final pieces for this Yankees roster. Let's get it in and have a great day. If anything else comes out, you're going to get it here. Talk to you next time.